Good morning, beloveds. The news right now is doing, it's the private ceremony for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they're just talking about her, and I watched them as, apparently I've got some emotion in there. I watched them as they brought the casket. They moved it out of the hearse and carried it up the steps, and it was fascinating to watch. I mean, how many funerals have you been to? And you don't like, you see it, but you don't see it. And so to watch the care and the attention that they moved, and how they backed up and turned around and, carried it just, and then, it was fascinating. But I also admit that yesterday, I was joking with my boss, and I straight up told him, I'm tired of living in historic times. It seems like the faster technology changes, the faster society evolves, and we seem to be struggling to keep up with it. And wonderful and beautiful things are coming out of it, don't get me wrong, but it's just one of those when I sit back and I'm grateful for this teaching, and I'm grateful that I have a place to go with all of this. I'm grateful that in the recognition of these historic times, that I can look at the teaching that I have taken as mine, and that the undergirding support system of it is oneness and love. And knowing that those are what's underpinning the teaching, if we can hold to those two, then we can do this. We can move through these historic times, and we can come out the other side better people. When we recognize not just that we are brothers and sisters, but that we are, not just that we are our brothers and sisters keepers, but that we are our brothers and sisters, that we are all one, that we have a responsibility, not just a right, but a responsibility to love one another and to care for one another and to meet those needs. And yeah. All right. I started a YouTube channel, and I did it for a couple of reasons. One, to make the particular days easier to find, because on YouTube you can search in the videos based on the day that you want. And two, so that I can go back and watch these, next year and go, look how much I've grown. Look at what, it's literally a video diary for me, but it's also going to be a video diary of what I've learned doing this. And yeah, so just so you know, I've started at the beginning, and I'm moving, they're still on Facebook. I'm not taking them off Facebook, but I'm moving the daily video guides over. And if you go to YouTube and search The Running Rev Ryan, you'll come up on that channel. And that way, if there was a particular day that you wanted to see what did I have to say? And maybe I didn't have anything particularly good to say that day. Maybe it was just the reading. You can search it by the day. because that's the day we'll start. Is the beginning of the title. So today it is September 25th, and it's Friday, and our title is I Have Confidence in the Law. And our Bible quote is, I will put my laws into their hearts, and into their minds I will write them. Or into their minds will I write them. And that's from Hebrews 10:16. Knowing that the Word of God is the law of God, holding my consciousness high to the inspiration of Spirit, I believe that since the law of the Lord is perfect, my faith becomes this law operating in my affairs. The divine presence within me works for me, through me. Therefore, whatsoever things I desire or have need of, that is done. Since all things are possible to God, which is the universal Spirit, all things must also be possible to you and me. Since we are individualized centers of this universal Spirit. I know that life gives to me according to my faith. Therefore, I elevate my faith. I lift up my mind. I engage the intention of the Spirit that it may flow through me with inspiration. I listen deeply to I listen deeply to that still small voice that evermore proclaims, behold, I make all things anew. Today I am made glad in my recognition of the divine presence. I am made strong in my recognition of the divine power. I am at peace in the recognition of divine security. That's a short one today. Okay. I have confidence in the law. I think I had a conversation with okay, I mean, it could have been yesterday, about remembering that the law doesn't judge. God doesn't judge. And Jesse says that God doesn't judge, Spirit doesn't judge, because there is nothing outside of Spirit. To judge, it has to be outside of you. And so since nothing is outside of God, then God doesn't judge. Which takes the whole sting out of the way we were brought up and taught about God. It takes a lot of that sting out. Which means the law doesn't judge, which means what you ask for, if you put your attention and your energy behind that, thought wrapped in feeling, then you will get it. Which begs the question, the things that keep showing up in your life, are you aware of what you're asking for? I have confidence in the law. The law is going to work. We just frequently are not conscious about what we're thinking, where our emotion is going, where our energy is going, where our attention is going. If we're not conscious about it, if we don't hold, as Emma likes to say, the high watch, then we're constantly getting things that we don't want, and we're like, why am I getting these things that I don't want? Because the law is going to work. We're just not being conscious about how we use it. One of the ways that I've heard sin described is self-inflicted nonsense. And that's effectively it. That is us misusing the law. Because the law works. It's just if we're not using it consciously, we're using it subconsciously, we're getting things that we don't want because we're not paying attention. All right. Knowing that the Word of God is the law of God, holding my consciousness high to the inspiration of Spirit. So, the Word of God and the law of God are the same thing. I am holding my consciousness high to the inspiration of spirit. What is spirit? Spirit is life. Spirit is good. Spirit is love. So that means the inspiration is going to be life, good, and love. That is what I need to be conscious of when I am asking. When I have the ask, when I go to do the ask, I want to look, does it trend towards life? Does it trend towards good? Does it trend towards love? And if it doesn't do all three of those, then why am I asking for it? Because I am misusing the law, because the law is going to work. I believe that since the law of the Lord is perfect, my faith becomes this law operating in my affairs. Since the law of the Lord is perfect. Perfect means whole. Perfect doesn't always mean flawless. So perfect means whole. It's going to work. Do you know what you're asking for? The divine presence within me works for me through me. And that's one of the big things. The divine presence works. And it works for you, but it works through you. So once you have made your ask, then you have to get up and do. Things don't come to us without us taking action to move towards them. And there's a number of ways that you can look at it. Because there are times that you make an ask and then you get to sit back and wait. But have you done the groundwork? So remember, the divine presence within me works for me through me. Therefore, whatsoever things I desire or have need of, that is done. Since all things are possible in God, which is the universal spirit, all things also must be possible for you and me. All things are possible in God. Since we are individualized centers of this universal spirit, meaning you are universal spirit. You're just a small knot in a great net. And that's one of the beautiful ways to look at it. And sometimes I'll think about it and I'm like, okay, so I'm human, I'm limited. It is what it is. So I like to think of it like a great fishing net. And we're all those little knots. So we've got all the little stringing cords behind us. And so we're just these little bright knots in this great web of life, or net of life, web of life. And we're all connected. And when things touch the net over there, they affect us over here. Maybe not to the degree that they are over there, but they still affect us. And so anything that is possible within that net is possible for all of us. Sometimes we need to move our knots that way, though. And sometimes we want to move them that way. But I love the idea of individual centers of the universal spirit. The language he uses to describe it is beautiful. So all things are possible in God, because God is a universal spirit, and because we are little tiny individual centers of that universal spirit, all things are possible to us. Again, that comes back to how big is your cup of acceptance, though. Spirit can only do for you what spirit can do through you. He said it earlier. And spirit can only bring you what you are willing to accept. So how big is your cup of acceptance? I know that life gives to me according to my faith. How big is your cup of acceptance? Therefore, I elevate my faith. I lift up my mind. And that's what I mean about holding the high watch. That's what I mean about being conscious. If you want it, then you have to do the work too. You have to put your time and your energy and your words towards what you want. Knowing that what you want, you're wanting for everybody else too. Remember that. I engage the attention of the Spirit that it may flow through me with inspiration. So when you ask for what you want, then what you can do is you can sit back and wait for the inspiration that will move you into the direction of what you are asking for. I listen deeply to that still small voice that evermore proclaims, "Behold, I make all things new." Today, I am made glad in my recognition of the divine presence. I am made strong in my recognition of the divine power. I am at peace in the recognition of the divine security. So, how do you have confidence in the law? By recognizing that it doesn't judge, that it will give you what you ask for when you do the work. When you make the ask in the manner that is in the nature of the law. The nature of the law is life, good, love. So when you make your request in that, then the law is going to work. If you make your request in a way that it is not, then it's still going to work. It's just not going to come out the way you're expecting. So I encourage you to hold the high watch, to be aware of your thoughts, and to have faith, and to recognize the inspiration when it comes to you. Spirit can do anything for you that it can do through you that you are willing to accept. How big is your cup of acceptance? So, our mission for today, I mean, really honestly, if you think about it, I know that life gives to me according to my faith. That's one of those phrases that you can tell how healthy a person is by saying to them, "I hope you get what you deserve." Because for some people, that's terrifying. And for other people, it's, yeah. So I know that life gives to me according to my faith is another one of those. If your faith is good and strong and loving and kind and compassionate, then you will receive according to your faith. And if it is not, you will receive according to your faith. So, I was going to do a mission and now I'm thinking about it. Our mission today is to elevate our faith, lift up our mind, and engage the attention of the Spirit that it may flow through us with inspiration. That's the mission for today. Yeah, that's the mission for today. So I am going to encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. It is in the upper 60s right now. It is absolutely a gorgeous morning. And the sun is out. You can see it flashing in my hair here. So open your windows. Allow some fresh air to come in. Allow that fresh air to bring you a fresh perspective. Do something that engages your mind and your body. Whatever that looks like for you. Allow the windows of your soul to be open. Allow the breath of heaven to come in and remind you you live in heaven now. You are a beloved child of God, God in whom Spirit is well pleased. And there is nothing that you can do or say to take that away. Hold the high watch in love. Hold the high watch in compassion. Hold the high watch in kindness for yourself and for everyone. We are not just our brothers and sisters' keepers, we are our brothers and sisters. The mission of Science of Mind is to make a world that works for everyone. And we need to get on that. All right. God can do for you what God can do through you. Remember that. All right, beloveds. Have a fantastic day. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow because tomorrow is Saturday and I get to go to the park and play with the squirrels. But Reverend David will be on with you at 5 p.m. today. Have a fantastic day.